how is it that people know when I'm about to start streaming? Because every single time I do it, every single time, it's usually 10 minutes before the stream, someone phones me. Without exception. And it's not that someone phones me, but they want to hold the line as much as possible. Like, who phones people in modern age? Like, you got a Discord. You know, you got, well, there used to be Skype. But just send me a message on Discord. Send me a message of it. Why do you phone me? God. Master Dravla, thank you for the donation, and also thank you $5 Zenith. It is what it is. You know, it's just an aspect of life. And then the chat is impatient, and I understand why the chat is impatient, because in your place I would also be. So that gives me anxiety. I need to start right away, which means that I don't get to set my material in order. Life is hard, what can I say? So yes, maybe V requires a certain amount of super chats like DSP. I haven't followed DSP in a long while, man. Like, I'm really curious how his streams are. I did notice I asked Leah to cover a DSP cooking stream, and then DSP actually contacted her and thanked her for it. That was a thing which happened. All right, so now again, I have two options, right? Like, the stream is 1 hour long, so I have to fill it with filler. And like, do I do the filler now or do I do the filler later? Because if I do it later, and I do the main dish now, then there's going to be people joining the chat and going like, V, when are you going to talk about Christian? When I already talked about it. Or I can do it later. Probably do it a little bit later, right? So this is like a very interesting thing, because like, Christian was already trending on Twitter for other reasons, and then I don't know who like made the suggestion that he escaped prison. I think that he didn't. Like, I haven't seen anything that would lead me to believe that he did, but the memes are so glorious. I have seen people claiming that he is now sitting with Ezra Miller. I have seen people saying that the goddess will rise, that Sonichu broke him out. I have seen people saying that he ran into the other dimension. And some of the memes are so freaking glorious. So I'm very excited to talk about them in a bit. Now, I gotta say, you know, a lot of people are not happy about the following thing that I'm going to show you. Give me one. It's almost like someone threatened her to make this video. Like, I have seen journalists being kidnapped in the Middle East, and there's usually like a white wall with a flag behind them, and they look at the camera, and they have to say something, and it's the same facial expression. Like, where is the passion? Like, look, where is the human emotion in this?
Hey guys, I'm Emma, and I'm a top 1% creator on OnlyFans. I've helped people just like you make a livable income on OnlyFans without even getting naked. You might be wondering how I've done that, so I built OFX as a blueprint.
This is like one of those videos of a quick rich scheme. You know, like one of those things. It's like how I made it big, and you have the person showing the stacks of cash. Like, I'm telling you, every single video where you see a person holding a stack of cash, and they're telling you like, oh, you can do this and you can get rid. Don't. Do the opposite. Don't. All right? Like, I can't think of a single video where a person holds the brick of cash and they actually gave people a sage advice. Can you think of any? Right? I can think of many that ended up being fake, you know, like buy some crypto bullshit like Luna or something. Yeah, like but I don't remember of any actual advice. It's like, hey, go work, be a plumber. And the plumber shows you like the thick stack of cash.
I've done that. So I built OFX as a blueprint that helps you build, manage, and grow your OnlyFans, all while working on your own time wherever you want. Whether you're just starting out.
Yeah, like this is the whole thing. It's like, look how rich I am. Look how wealthy I am. You can be too. right? Like, this is the whole shtick.
OnlyFans or in the
But she's the top 1%. Like, there is no fucking way you're going to be the top 1%. Especially not in this market.
process of creating one, this program is for you. I give you all the secret tips and tricks other creators don't want you to know that you need in order to be a successful content creator.
Oh my fucking god. This sounds like a pickup artist. It's like, I will give you all the tips and tricks that other people do not want you to know. The esoteric knowledge. The thing that only she knows. Like, oh my fucking god. It's like, one of those, yeah, no, it's either like get quick rich streams or, dating advice. You know, I will tell you 10 things that women do not want you to know about how to date them. Just give me money.
Being an OnlyFans content creator has allowed me to become financially independent, afford the things I always wished I had.
Just become a Twitch streamer. Become a Twitch streamer, you get all of this. And you can also keep your dignity intact. Holy shit. You know, like, the thing is, they will say, oh, well, no, it's sexism. Sex work is real work. Really? Do you want your daughter? Like, honestly, if you have a child, like, most people saying this, they don't have a daughter. I am curious, like, are there parents out there who want their daughter to send naked pics to horny men online? Like, is this something that we're doing? Is this progressive? Is that like the antithesis of misogyny?
And giving me the freedom to help people like you learn how to do it too. Before I knew all the secrets to OnlyFans, I was juggling a part-time job with being a full-time student. Now I'm making 20 times as much and have all the free time I ever want.
At least I'm not going to pay for her student debt. At least we have that.
Throughout this course, I'll show you the best ways to build.
Wait. So let me get this straight, all right? Like, this is very interesting. So she's so fucking wealthy. Like we seen her show the brick of cash, getting into that Lamborghini or whatever it was, right? Like, she's incredibly wealthy, right? Why does she need to get money for teaching courses? Like, why does she need, like, she is so fucking wealthy, chat. Like, she had, like, this beautiful apartment. She had that wealthy car, yeah? Why doesn't she do it for free? Like, if it's about helping young entrepreneur girls, it's about helping the new generation, why doesn't she give the advice for free? Why is she charging more money for these courses when she's so fucking rich? Huh? Oh, she wants to help, I see. Holy shit. I'm just curious, you know? Maybe she's a little bit into debt. Maybe she's just a little bit into debt. And you know what I think? I think that when you start doing OnlyFans, despite the fact that on social media everyone is like, oh, so empowering. In reality, when you're going to look for a job, the employer is going to Google your name, and they're going to see it, they're going to go like, ooh, yikes. Okay, you know, I don't want the clients to see this. And they're going to write an email. It's like, oh, don't call us. We'll call you. He. Ha, ha, ha. I mean, let's be honest, okay? We're talking about the real world here. You know, like, we're not talking about the imaginary la la land of social media. Like, this is what happens in the real world. If you put yourself out there, and I'm not going to lie, you know, political commentators such as myself, like, it does make it very difficult to transition into other opportunities and other jobs. Why do you hate me, Jonathan Prim? What the fuck have I ever done to you? Why do you hate me on a deep and personal... You don't even know me! You don't even know who I am! Why, Jonathan? You know what? I'm going to give you a wrench so you can think about what you just fucking said. Holy shit. Her quarterly numbers are low. I definitely believe that. I cannot debunk that. Give me a second so I can drink some water. Yeah. By the way, if you wanna do OnlyFans, be a VTuber. I'm not kidding, chat. This is like it shocked me when I found out, but apparently it's true. There are VTubers with OnlyFans. right? So I don't know how they do it. I mean, they commissioned artists, I think. But it is legit. At least you're hiding your face, you know? At least you're not... And she says it's like, oh, I've done it without taking my clothes off. Yeah, well, let's be honest. Like, how many OnlyFans girls do it without taking their clothes off? And it's such a fucking evil company, chat. It's such a vile company. Do you know the controversy that they got involved in? Apparently, they were pressuring Facebook to classify other websites, other competitors as terrorist content. Right? So let me show you what OnlyFans does, because this is what really pisses me off about this particular website. Like, if you're going to try to appeal to horny men online as a lady, just do Twitch, okay? Anything else but OnlyFans. It's an evil corporation. Look at this. Right? Like... This is on the BBC fucking news. I should make a video on my main website about it. My main channel, sorry. This is just that, it was from February. I kind of missed that trade. But still, right? Facebook accused of blacklisting OnlyFans rivals. So, Facebook has now been named as the company alleged to have conspired with OnlyFans in a class action filing. And the Facebook claims it's without merit. So they're being sued by Fan Central, and they claim that the social media content of adult performers' rival was placed on a database of extremist material shared between tech companies that is run by the Global Internet Forum to Counter Terrorism, right? So there's this other competitor to OnlyFans, and this is why I don't think it's without merit, because they probably have enough evidence to file this lawsuit, which basically goes and point out that, okay, so Facebook put Fan Central on a terrorist watch list. And then they share that list with other companies. And obviously this benefits OnlyFans. The database used by Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter, like, take into account that there is a database shared by Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. So this is why when you get banned from one platform, you immediately get banned from all. Right? Because there's like, they're sharing, like, imagine the banks sharing, well, they actually do that, holy shit. Imagine the phone companies sharing your phone number, so if you get banned from one phone company, you get banned from all. OnlyFans has not reasoned a legal response, but they say they have no merit, so we'll see, right? But still, how the fuck did their competitor get on a terrorist watch list? I mean, it's a website where you can see booba, right? Like, it's not no one gets terrorized. Well, I suppose that modern progressives who are sex negative might get terrorized, but other than that, no. And then there's also this one. This one is my favorite. This one is like Ushikushi level 9000. Hold on, I'll show you in a bit. This lady. This one is with merit, okay? Like, this one is not without merit. This is with merit. OnlyFans founder had sex with Facebook staff to reclaim her Instagram account. Isn't this fucking awesome? Isn't this like such a great culture we live in? If you believe that having sex with producers is solely necessary to get... Why the fuck do I keep getting shoes recommended? Why am I constantly being shilled shoes? I haven't clicked on shoes. I don't care about shoes. Why is it that I get these type of commercials? So anyway, right, like, people are pointing out, oh my god, like Hollywood, Jeffrey Epstein. Well, apparently OnlyFans founder, Kitty Lixo, was allegedly asked for sex by a Facebook employee in order to help her restore her suspended Instagram account. Oh my fucking god. It is also true that if Instagram or other social media platforms determines that your account has broken one of their policy, restoring it might be difficult. Yeah. You get banned for fucking life, chat. You get banned for fucking life. There is nothing you can do in order to get your account back unless you're the founder of OnlyFans. Then there might be something you can do about it. The absolute state of corporate America, I swear. This is what OnlyFans founder claimed when she detailed the lengths she had to go to get her profile back. It won't listen to my appeal. So I'll just do it my own way. I stick by that. Oh, well, someone else did the sticking too. She split the beans on the No Jumper podcast, explaining how she was able to recover her profile, which had over 196,000 followers, after sleeping with Meta employees previously known as Facebook. She explained how she was able to achieve this as the sluttiest thing she's ever done. I'm really curious, like, what if the moderator would have just slept with her and then not restored the account, huh? Lexoni revealed what she found about the social media platform alleged review process. During the interview, she says when her IG account got deleted. And by the way, this is a very progressive company, Facebook, right? Like, they're very social justice oriented. They have diversity officers to make sure that they hire the proper people. And, like, they have all of these left-leaning activists over there that constantly lecture us about how to behave and, yes mean yes laws and that type of shit. I'm really curious if this Facebook employee can have a Facebook account after this, right? Because Alex Jones can't. I'm just saying. It's not very progressive what he did, in my opinion. It's not very cool. On Twitter, user says, I got banned from IG for posting the anon content. So that is what it takes to get my IG account back. Go deep undercover, damn. Many will surely ask the same question. Oh, yeah, I mean, it's a decent question to ask. What can I say? I mean, it has to be asked. It's like, what can I do to get my account back if I get banned, huh? Deleted, as in flag deleted was changed from 0 to 1. Probably. Look at the chat. How am I doing? How's Romania? Oh, we're under a heat wave right now, 32 degrees Celsius. By the way, I'm just going to put it out there. There's a famine coming. All right, like get ready for famine. The fact that politicians on television are telling me that we shouldn't worry next year because there's not going to be a famine, I am already becoming concerned. Alright, like hashtag concerned here. We're going to go through some bad times. Next year is going to be a doozy. So, like the balls of these people, the balls to lie to the public like that. So first of all, there is a heat wave, okay? One of the worst that Europe has experienced in my recent time. I mean, there is a drought. Like, water doesn't come down from the sky, okay? When water doesn't come down from the sky, this is bad for crops. Like, the fact that they say that there's no problem, it's like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, surely if water doesn't fall from the sky for more than 3 fucking months in a row, and I'm looking at my lawn, and it's yellow, there is no fucking way that is going to be no problem. Like, you can say there's a little problem and downplay it, like, fine. But, like, nope, like, really, no whatsoever? Did they hire druids in order to summon the rain? Like, how does it fucking work? Okay, so, we got a heat wave, we got a drought, we got an energy crisis. Oh, an energy crisis. Do you know how fertilizer is made? Using oil. So you have less oil, you have a fertilizer problem. Oh, so heat wave, drought, fertilizer problem, and then you have massive fuckery in places where the crops are coming from. Like, you have massive fuckery in Ukraine, and you understand that. Like, what can you do? It's hard to farm the fields when there's a war. I get that. The Ukrainian farmer didn't ask for that shit. But the farmers in Netherlands did by voting for their incompetent politicians. I mean, you have like 30% of farmer downgrade in the Netherlands, okay? And in other countries in Europe. So you're telling me that while you have fuckery happening in places where the food is coming from, you have an energy crisis, you have a heat wave, and on top of that, you also have a drought. You're telling me that there's no problem. No fucking... How are you going to summon the food? Do you have wizards from D&D to cast summon food? Because otherwise I don't fucking understand how you're going to do it. Holy fucking shit. Like, my wife's parents, she's got livestock, they have chickens and stuff. They don't know how to feed the birds anymore because they can't find food for them. Like, it's really bad. I don't fucking need to know how to farm. I go outside and I have a lawn. All right? Like, because I'm in a neighborhood where you're supposed to have a lawn. It's fucking yellow. I water it. It doesn't matter. It's still yellow. Apparently, it needs actual rain. Like, sure, irrigation helps, but it's not a good replacement for rain. You still need water to come from the fucking sky. Oh my fucking god, it's just like... Even the bugs will starve. The bugs need food. Like, they're not going to just materialize out of the ether no, they need nourishment. Alright, like, bugs need to eat stuff as well. It's just so fucking annoying. It's the fact that they lie to you with such straight faces. Oh, there's not going to be a food problem. It's like, really? No problem. Not even a tiny one. Like, I understand, it's not going to be a big problem. Okay, fine. But, like, not even a tiny problem? That's like me taking a piss on the bathroom floor and telling my wife that she can enter the bathroom because it's fine. It doesn't work that way. What the fuck does it matter when I water it? I can water whatever the fuck I want. Obviously, I water during early morning. But, like, you're not going to replace the rain with artificial water. Alright? Like, you can water the lawn and it's going to last longer. But after a while, after 1 month of no rain, after 2 months of no rain, you're going to see yellow patches. It's like, stop. My fucking god, like, the chat always is like, oh, but are you doing this? Are you doing this? I'm doing it properly, trust me. Well, at least Eastern Europe is used with famine. I mean, we had communism. Unlike the West, we didn't vote for it. And we didn't fund it. Like, we didn't pay for it. In Germany, they're paying for it with taxes. It's so fucking astonishing. Like, paying for communism. My fucking god. Like, you think that you read everything there is to know about mental illnesses when you go to med school, but then you find out, oh, look, in Germany, they discovered something new. Funding communism with their tax-paying money. It's like, holy shit. Imagine paying for politicians to tell you that you're not allowed to create food. Like, that's... It's called a sprinkler. Well, maybe I don't have the water pressure where I live. Did you think about that? Did you think about that? Maybe the constructor didn't have, like, the proper water pressure. And even if you have sprinklers, my fucking god, like, dude, you are out of your mind. You do not understand gardening if you believe that with 3 months without rain, you're going to be able to water that properly. You are insane. And even then, there are places in my country where the government forbids people from watering their garden because there's no fucking water anymore. Like, do you understand this? There are big lakes which are dry. There's like this lake in my town that apparently is where a village used to be, right? They're like, they were like, oh, there's a village under this lake. Now you can fucking see the village because the lake is gone. Get better water pressure. How the fuck can you get better water pressure for an entire neighborhood? And how much money do you think I'm willing to spend in order to get better water pressure to lower... No, seriously, like, the chat is loco today. This podcast is brought to you by Brando the Thirst Mutilator. It's what plants crave. Yeah, like seriously... Get better water pressure. Yes, I need to lower my I need to water my lawn. I'm going to spend probably like $5,000 just to install better water pressure because my lawn is important, especially during this heat wave. Oh, God. Build a water tower. Yes. Why would I build a water tower if water isn't raining? There's no rain. How would it help? How did your food change during communism? Oh, we had rations for everything. Water pump costs about 150. Do you know the schematics of my neighborhood? Do you know when I can even install the pump? Like, are you even aware of where I live? No? Why do you talk about these suggestions? Fucking hell. Do you even know if water pumps are available in Romania where I live? And if they cost 150? It's also supply and demand. Like, most people don't need a water pump here. You store it when it rains. Oh, well, fine. Oh, baby, if it doesn't rain for 3 months, you can store it up your asshole. Because it's still going to be useless. If it doesn't rain for 3 months, it's called a fucking drought, chat. It's called a drought. It means that it's going to be empty. Okay? Sun, hot. Sun causes water to evaporate. Water goes out, no water goes in. Do the math. Tell your government to do that. No. I don't even think I have the approval to do it, because it's a private neighborhood. Like, it would be such a fucking hassle. I would have to get the approval of all the neighbors and then start digging and destroy the road that's here so that we can put the pipes. And then you'd have to cover it back up. Like, the cost would be fucking insane. But alright, whatever. You know, it is what it is. Yeah, sun goes in, sun goes out. You can't explain. See, filtering urine might actually work, yes. Yeah, imagine not having underground aqueducts, yes. Pee on the lawn? Oh, I have dogs to do that. They get into the neighborhood every fucking night. Maybe that's why there's yellow patches. Right, let's discuss the Christian Kartoffel. So, apparently, Christian was trending today. And I think some people spread the rumors that he escaped prison, right? And as the thing was trending, this injection of new information was uploaded. And now everyone was like, oh, did he actually escape? But I looked at where did the rumor come from? And apparently there's no credible source. I mean, by credible source, I mean, there's not even a guy that would say, oh, yes, I talked to Chris. And I know this happened. Right? Like, it just seems to have come out of nowhere. And I guess people believe it because it's funny. And even though it didn't happen, it's still very rich in memes. Like, there's a lot of memes that took place over it. So, rumors of the Sadichu creator escaping the prison of the courtroom minutes before his trial surfaced on the web. And netizens didn't leave the opportunity to make some hilarious memes. The thing is, like, I don't even know if he had a trial. Like, that's why I don't believe it. Because, like, the possibility is true. Like, I have seen people escape in more hilarious situations. But the thing is, he is like, most of the guards, right? Like, when you're on guard duty, you're guarding the you don't fucking expect that they're going to jump out of the window. You know, it's something that most people don't do, because, like, eventually they get caught again. And if they jump out of the window and they get caught, they get extra time added. So, most people don't do it. Especially, I mean, like, if someone is looking at life or a death sentence, yeah, then the security is more tight. But in the case of Chris, I'm pretty sure that he might even get off by pleading insanity, so... Because, like, the guy, like, legitimately, or the girl, or whatever, like, they legitimately have a case. So, Christian was arrested in August 2021 after allegations were made that she was having incest with the 80-year-old dementia-ridden mother. The cops arrested the YouTuber in Richmond, Virginia, and the entire incident was streamed live on YouTube. Chad was held without bail, and her case was later approved for a grand jury. She was finally about to take the stand and fight against the accusations. However, reports have emerged that she has escaped law enforcement via toilet. So Christian was trending on Twitter this Sunday after rumors that she escaped. The clip revealed that they climbed out of the bathroom window 5 minutes before the trial. It further revealed that she had been missing for 5 hours when the video was posted, and the search was underway. Yeah, but like, this is a 4chan post. Like, literally everyone can post this, right? So this is probably the post that started it all. Like, Christian was already trending. And then this 4chan person posted this and said that, oh, sees Christian trending on Twitter. So people believe that Christian was trending on Twitter because they escaped. But in reality, it's the other way around. Like, they were trending on Twitter probably because their case date was due. Maybe. I don't know. But, like, this person added fire to the gasoline, and this is what happened. So the tweet has over 31,000 likes and 100,000 views. The tweet gone viral and reached other social media platforms, including Reddit. It's not worth noting that legitimate details about Christian court appearance were not made public. Netizens may have jumped on fake rumors and started the topic. So yeah, the rumor suggests that Christian escaped after climbing through the toilet window. It seems absurdly unlikely to be true. It has happened before. Like, you can you can look at YouTube videos with people escaping from custody, and there are several cases where they actually did use the bathroom window to escape. Finally, Christian can make Sanichu super. The site is a solid joke. No, like, I know cases where people actually escape prison by doing this. Let me see if I can find on YouTube actually. Like, here's one that has 11 million views. Handcuffed teens escape custody by getting through the window. Now, obviously, it's not the same situation, right? Because this is at the police station, and there, in the case of Chris, apparently he was at the courthouse. But as you can see, right, you got the person here, and he's looking around, and all of a sudden he just goes to the window, and like, whoop, right? So later on, the cops come in, and the cop is like, holy shit, right? See, this is why you need to close the window after you and make sure that you don't bother the drapes. You need to cover your tracks. No, but my point is, like, this has happened in the past. In the case of Christian, the window needs to be huge. Get the fuck out. Dude, compared to average Americans, Christian is fucking fit, yo. Like, take your average American and put them next to Christian. Like, he is fit. He is at peak human condition. I do think that I do think that Chris can fit it through a window. However, I do firmly believe that this is fake. I don't think that there is any credible evidence regarding his escape. Or her escape or whatever. My fucking guy's so fucking confused. You know what's even weird? Didn't Christian say that the reason they transitioned is because they believe it's easier to get women as a lesbian or something like this? Like, didn't they actually say that? I don't know. The thing is, like, I know the name Christian. Like, it's so nefarious. It's so legendary on the internet to the point where my brain finds it very difficult to adapt. Probably fake, but imagine if it's true level. I mean, where would they go, man? Like, where would they go? Because they don't have any friends. They don't have any other relatives. I mean, unless you prefer life on the streets, which, you know, I suppose it's probably better than prison. But at the same time, I think they have a good chance of escaping the punishment, right? Because they can plead insanity. I think this actual plea will stand in court. Like, take into account, he only needs to convince one juror, right? So single jury that gets convinced. Canada. Oh my fucking god. Yes. Christian escaped to Canada. That would be interesting. Wouldn't it be more likely that Mexico is a better alternative? Is Virginia closer to Mexico? Yeah, it is. It is, isn't it? Right? So Virginia is probably a better alternative than Canada. Well, I did see that Chris got beaten up in prison, which, despite the fact that feminists believe we live in a rape culture, sex offenders aren't treated nicely in prison, right? So I think that's why. It's not due to the fact that he had neurodivergent condition. I need to be very careful of what I say on social media, right? He had a neurodivergent. It's built different, right? So they had a neurodivergent condition. I don't think that's why. I don't think that is why he got bullied in prison. I think it's the sex pest allegations. So yes, that would explain why they would want to leave that place. It's a disability now, is it? Well, here's the thing, right? If it's a disability, it means you can get pills for it, right? It means the health insurance can cover it. Like, this is something that I don't understand about the left. Like, on one hand, they claim that they have infinite compassion for people with disabilities, right? So, like, part of leftist ideology is that they care about folks who are disabled. Perfect. But on the other hand, they want to take disabilities and consider, okay, well, this is not a disability anymore. This is normal, right? Like, this is normal behavior. The problem with doing that is that most disabilities that require treatment, right? Like, you require to take pills, they won't be covered by health insurance if you don't consider it a disability anymore. Like, I remember with trans people, they were actually livid when the left considered that trans is not a mental disorder. Like, that happened like 4 years ago. Like, they considered that's not. So trans people were scared because, like, they need their hormones, right? Like, a gay person, for example, in order to be gay, he doesn't need any substances. He doesn't need any pills, right? Like, he can have his life without the need of the pharmaceutical companies. But for a person wanting to transition, well, they need hormones, which they would prefer if it's covered by insurance. Now, if it's not a disability, then you do not have the medical condition required to take substances, and then the insurance will not cover it. Like, does that make sense, right? So they had to somehow, like, find a different way, and I think it's like a disability now. It's like, because you're born in the wrong body. It's like I forgot how they classified it. I will have to check it out, but it was something like a birth defect or something like that, right? It's kind of like being born with a birth defect, so you still need medical assistance so that the healthcare companies can still cover it. Like, but like, why do you even get into these kartoffels to begin with? You can have beers. The CCP started reporting lower temperatures during the current drought. If it's 45, PPE has stopped to work. The thermometers exist, so everyone knows. What's your take from being from Romania? Well, this is the same thing with, like gender dysphoria. They removed that, right? Like, they don't consider gender dysphoria to be a condition anymore. So now they try to make it into something else, like a birth defect or something. It's like a physical condition, right? It's not mental, it's physical. Whatever. It is what it is. Increasing neurodiversity in disability land, social yeah, like, neurodiversity means that it's not pathological, right? Like, your brain is still functioning the same way as it should, but it's just like, it's a different way compared to other people. And it's like, when you say that, like, because, like, not being normal is not necessarily a bad thing, right? Like, I don't know why, but in English language, like, not being normal is associated with bad. But pathological, right? Like, if you have diabetes, it means that you have a pancreas that's not normal. right? Like, and by normal, what it means here is average. Like, what is in the average population? In the average population, the secretion of insulin is at a particular rate. If you're outside that rate, you're into the pathological land. And you need to be able to express that so the doctor can know, diagnose you, and give you treatment. It's not so that society can stigmatize you, for fuck's sakes, okay? Like, that's not the point. Obviously, like, you can fight against stigma without having to say that people who are outside the specific parameters where you have the realm of homeostasis, people who are outside that have a pathology. Like, that's fine to say. But, like, for some reason, when the left goes with neurodivergent, they're basically saying, it's like, no, it's not a pathology. And if it's not a pathology, then you don't need treatment. And if you don't need treatment, then the health insurance doesn't cover it. Fucking hell, it's just whatever. Now, regarding what happens with the alleged case that China lies about temperatures, I mean, it's kind of the same shit like the United States current administration lying about recession, right? Like, you can change the definition. You can change the definitions of the words, but at the end of the day, people notice that their purchasing power goes down, that their cost of living goes up, that it's difficult to do the groceries, right? Like, people notice that shit. It doesn't matter. It's like, oh, well, like, the country's going great and blah, blah, blah. It's like, all right, but, like, the average voter doesn't think in these macro terms. He's going to look at it. It's like, well, things are going bad for me. It was going better under the previous administration. So regarding, like, China talking about temperature, I don't know whether or not this is true. But, like, let's assume that it's true. Like, at the end of the day, I have my own fucking thermometer. At the end of the day, I go outside and I feel that it's hot. Like, I don't need to, I don't need to have the official sources to tell me what time it is and how hot it is. Oh, my God, it's so interesting. Like, maybe they're going to change the definition of hunger next year, and they're going to be, well, hungry is when you don't eat for 2 weeks in a row, like, if you eat if you eat every 15 days, then you're fine. That's not hunger. I wouldn't be surprised if they actually do it. At the end of the day, all I have to listen is for the ambulance sirens which are carrying. Well, here's the thing, like, there's always been these issues. I mean, I don't remember a time when summer wasn't hot and winter wasn't cold. Like, I get it, it's bad now. Like, this is a particular bad year. But like, every year there were ambulances carrying the elderly. Like the concept that heat stroke doesn't exist is ludicrous. I mean, I worked in hospitals. There were summers that were much less hotter than this, and the ambulance were still coming in, and there were still people with heat strokes. Honestly, like, the only thing they could do is to... And this is very interesting, right? So during the pandemic, oh, you need to social distance, you need to mask up, blah, blah, blah. Okay, fine. But now why isn't it like, oh, it's hot outside? Elderly should be forced to stay indoors for your own fucking health and safety. Like, why not? Like, you're still overcrowding the hospitals with the heat strokes. I mean, honestly, this is a bad thing. But it is what it is. 2 weeks of no food isn't hungry, it's dead. 1 week of no food is enough to kill 3 days of no water. How much can people survive without food? I think it's longer than 2 weeks, actually. Let me check. How long? Obviously, it's probably depending on how the body weight of the person is like. Like, a child is going to survive less than an adult. No, but apparently it's 8 to 21 days, right? So I knew you can actually survive for more than 2 weeks. Still, like, I mean, it depends on the average person, but, like, looking at the average American, I think they're fine. I think the average American can survive for 21 days without food. It is close to starvation, yeah. But, like, take into account that people will still eat something. I mean, when there were big famines here in Europe, People, started eating grass. They started eating the leather of their shoes. They started eating bugs. They tried eating birds. But basically, they are going to try to eat something. Like, it's not going to be like complete food deprivation. But yeah, like after 20 days, bad things start happening. 4 weeks on no food, 4 days with no water. Yeah, probably. Water, yeah, like water is obviously the most essential. In fact, in most survival guides, the first thing you have to do is find fresh water, and then you have to find shelter and food, right? I think it's like food and shelter in that order. Yeah, eat the bugs. I mean, it's probably going to get like very expensive to buy fresh vegetables, very expensive to buy meat. And you're still going to be able to find like cans and stuff, but it's going to be difficult to find them in the supermarket because you're going to see empty shelves. Probably the Impossible Burger is still going to be stocked. Like you're going to find like people would probably prefer to go those 21 days without food than to buy an Impossible Burger. I wouldn't be surprised. Eat the rich. Oh, Jesus fucking Christ. Yeah, there's a lot of horror stories that came from European villages under famines during the period after the war. Like it's not something that's nice. Jesus. Let me see what else we got. Speaking of food, I'm looking at this and I'm like, how are Koreans and Asians in particular this good? Like, this is a TikTok video, right? Look at this. I mean, the editing required is just astonishing. Why would you do all of this effort for a fucking TikTok video? Let's make a YouTube video so you can put some ads on it and make some money. Holy shit. And by the way, Americans are fucking furious because this is cultural appropriation. Like, apparently she's wearing the attire from a different country and she is making a dish using the wrong ingredients. Like, I shit you not. Like, who makes these rules? My fucking God. Who makes these standards? Like, imagine being unable to enjoy a corny video because of your ideology. It's like, oh, it's like sinful. It's like a hardcore Christian trying to watch a Beyonce song. And it's like, oh my God, why is she naked? I just want to take a moment and appreciate the corniness, but at the same time, the level of editing going into this is insane. Yeah. So let me see if I can find people that are complaining. Look at this. This is Korean food, kimchi. And the clothes she is wearing in the video are also Korean, traditional clothes, hanbok. She is wearing and making hanbok and kimchi naturally like in China. Should we just take this for fun? I'm Korean and I'm really frustrated. Get off the internet, man. Like, get off the internet. If this is so harmful for you, like, I'm really worried about your health. Like maybe if this is traumatic, you shouldn't be on the internet, because I see things more traumatic than this. Like this, and I don't know if you can take them. Because if this is the limit, then there's far things. I use a translator, I'm sorry. The funny production on the video and the opinions are the same, but the Chinese describe traditional Korean clothing. Oh my God. As if they're on. This is unpleasant as a Korean. I'm offended by this video. In this video, in order to take away the culture of another country for political purposes and context in China. This video shows people wearing clothes from another country and making funny food from other countries with incorrect recipes. Sue her. Sue her. Get a lawyer. Nick, I found you a client. You know, like, this is also another interesting thing. Like, if you generally believe that cultural appropriation shouldn't happen, why can't you pass legislation about it, right? Because, like, that's how culture works. Like, if a lot of people agree with you, you can pass legislation, and then you can criminalize the behavior. Thankfully, it's only on Twitter that it happens. Oh, I see. All clothing is a cut. No, but like, it's so dumb. Like, no one believes this. I mean, imagine, oh my god, I'm a Romanian. Oh, if they wear Romanian clothing, oh, I'm so upset. I'm literally shaking, you guys. I'm literally shaking. I don't know what to do. I am weak. I'm so weak. Oh, gods of social media, I pray to you. The only gods that are existing, you know, the trust and safety of Twitter, please ban this lady. Oh, you banned her? They banned her. I get my way. You know, like these types of people, holy shit. No, but like, you notice these people, they're like, oh, I'm weak. I'm so weak. Please ban her. Please ban her. Ban her. I just don't understand how, like, some of the most vicious people manage to pretend that they are weak in order to gain power, you know? Like, a culture that rewards fucking weakness is what we have. Like the weaker you are, and the more you can pretend, because that's the thing, like, they're not offended. Like, let's be fucking honest, okay? They are not offended. I do not buy for a single fucking second that they're offended. And even if they are offended, that doesn't mean you get to destroy someone else's livelihood. Like, no. Right? So I don't think they're offended, but like, if they persuade people to believe that they're offended, then they can use that persuasion in order to ruin someone else's career. It's so fucked up. Yeah, there is no such thing as cultural appropriation, because that would mean that you would have a intellectual property, and even then, right, any element of a person's culture has been built upon other cultures, because, like, humanity has interacted with each other. Like, unless you find a group of people that live secluded from the rest of the world, then you can say, yeah, okay, like, their culture is unique. But, like, everywhere else, like take, for example, I don't know, the British tea. Because this is what the progressives like say. Oh, well, the British tea. Well, the British tea, you know, probably comes from India, if I'm not mistaken, or China. And tea drinking isn't particularly British, right? But the way the British drink tea, like, their culture surrounding tea drinking is British. Like, you're not going to find it anywhere else. Like, the emphasis they put on tea to the point where they have it in actual tanks. Like, the British Churchill tank, if I'm not mistaken, it actually has a tea dispenser inside. Right? Like, that is a British thing. No other country in the world has it. But in order to get to that point, right? Like, the tank isn't a British invention. The tea isn't necessarily a British invention. Right? Like, if I were to drink tea, I wouldn't be culturally appropriating from the British, because they also culturally appropriated from other cultures. I don't think there is a single thing which you can say, well, yeah, this is just from this culture. Because, like, everything can be traced. Like, everything is a human collaboration between multiple cultures. Like, someone invents something, and then other cultures take it and perfect it. And further, like, even Chinese food, right? Like, the Chinese food in the United States is completely different from the Chinese food in China. Why? Because in the United States, the taste bud of the population demands that the food is more greasy. Like, Americans enjoy more greasy food. They enjoy having more corn syrup on shit and stuff. Right? So, like, the Chinese food that you get in the United States, most of it, obviously, is different than the one in China, because the people in China like it differently. Right? So that's my point. Like, they took something from China and they modified it to make it something that Americans like. The tank is a British invention. I think it's German, if I'm not mistaken. But even then, like, even if the tank is a British invention, then you can look at who invented the first automobile. And then you can look at who invented the steam engine. And then you can look at who invented metal. Right? Like everything is built upon something else. And before I find out that everything is British. And then I'll be like, holy fuck, I just dismantled my own theory. I wouldn't be surprised, though, because, like, British people had, what, like, half of the world conquered? So saying that something was invented by Britain is at that particular point in time isn't a big stretch. The tank was historically an evolution from the plate mail somewhere in Europe. The UK needed something that could be driven over trenches. I thought it was German, man. I thought like the Germans had the first tank, but okay, you know, fine. I yield. First tank was Lil Willie. I think like they used to call the first tanks males and females, if I'm not mistaken. So the male was the male was anti-armor and the female was anti-infantry. Like they had like two models of tanks basically. All right, it's British all the way down. I stand corrected. Well, I'm willing to bet that at some point one element may not be British, right? Like the person who first found iron or some shit in order to like use the iron in order to create the parts required for the engine of the tank or something. Like I don't believe that there is anything that you can say it's 100% pure. Like that particular culture invented everything from zero to where it is. Although again, if anyone did that, it would probably be the British, because they had the British Empire. Like that shit was spanning the entire Earth. So it would be very difficult at that point for other cultures to come up with stuff. Yeah, you know, probably there's documents on World of Tank forums contradicting what I'm just saying right now. Well, the first tanks were shit, yeah. Especially in a world where you had artillery bombardment that would turn a forest into glass. So, trying to maneuver a tank, which was incredibly slow, to the point where people on foot were faster than that tank. Yeah, I can see the problem. By the way, I want to show people red flag laws, right? Like, red flag laws are some of the most interesting one, because they are so ridiculous. And I find it fascinating that the United States actually considers the concept of red flag laws. So, historically, it was made by mentally challenged politicians. And today we have different red flag laws, and you can drive the parallel. All right, so the first cars that were ever made, they didn't have much in the way of speed. I think they could go to 20 kilometers an hour, right? So they weren't very fast. And they were very loud, that they would spook animals. Like as you can see in this picture, they spooked the horse. So the red flag laws was that you needed to have a person in front of the car walking with a red flag. And then in the car, you needed to have another person which would assist the driver. I'm not kidding. Like this was the red flag law. And some of the laws were so dumb. Like I don't know how people could put them into practice, but apparently like if you approached a herd of animals, like let's say there's some cows that are coming towards your car, you are supposed to disassemble the automobile, like turn it off and then disassemble it and hide it in some bushes. Until the herd passes away and then you reassemble it. Now, I do have to say that the first automobiles were kind of like a death contraption. So they didn't have suspensions, which means that if the road wasn't flat and you hit a hole, you would feel that. And given how they were built, parts of the automobile could also come out. So I get that. But like they also didn't have suspensions. But worst of all was when you like most people didn't understand physics. So if they would take a curve like at 20 kilometers or 30 kilometers an hour, and they would take a deep curve and they would just suddenly pull the wheel, the car would tip. And there were many people that actually suffered such accidents. But then you also had the problems where kids died. One of the recorded ones where the people in the car were on top of a hill, and then they went down the valley, but for some reason the brakes didn't work. So the driver jumped out of the car in a panic, and the car just went down at incredible speeds and ran itself into some kids that were playing in the street. Because back then, you didn't have that many cars. I mean, seeing a car was spectacular in itself. So most kids just played in the streets. It's like, what will happen? Well, a horse comes with a carriage, right? And it stops because, like, the horse is an animal, doesn't want to run into kids. So that was what caused all of these red flag laws and all of this nonsense. Do you know why it's a crime to hit and run a dog but not a cat in Great Britain? I don't know if that's true, but I assume it's because dogs were always more loved by people than cats throughout history. Because, like, the dog was your alarm, right? Like, it protects you against burglars. You can take it hunting, right? So the dog was legitimately more important to the household than the cat. Maybe that's why. The Bone Shaker bicycle was just awful for similar reasons. No, I definitely think that, because, like, in the past, people had more gave more importance to animals based on how useful they were to the household. And most people required a dog for protection. Like, if you have a dog, it's going to protect your property. And not only that, but you have, like, sheep herding dogs, and you had dogs that there's a reason why it's called the man's best friend. The king loved his corgis, and some bastard ran over his dog with a horse and cart. Oh, that's interesting. So I was wrong. But is it still a crime? And not only that, like, hit and run. Okay, so let's say that you're driving on a highway and you're at whatever speed is required to be on the highway, and then a dog jumps in front of you, right? Now, obviously you can't brake. If you're at a high speed and you take a turn, you're going to flip the car. You may just run into someone else. Like, the only thing to do in that situation is to just accept the nature of things and take the impact. In fact, it actually tells you to do this in Romanian legislation. Like, if you're over 50 kilometers an hour and a dog just jumps in front of you, like, you don't expect it, the thing that is required by Romanian law is that, well, you brace for impact. But now, let's assume you're on a highway and you ran into a dog. You don't want to, but, like, the dog jumps in front of you, right? Are you supposed to stop? I mean, at that point, it's paced. Like, we're not even talking about an animal. Like, you disintegrated it. Like, if it's on a highway and you're driving at 200 miles per hour, I think it had a good death, if you can say that, because it didn't suffer, at least. But, like, if you stop the car, then what? Like, are you calling 911 and you're telling them that you ran over a dog on the highway? Like, what do you do? I get it, like, if you run over a dog and you don't have a speed high enough and now the dog is injured and you can take him to a vet. Like, that is something that I understand. But what I am saying is that in a situation where there's no fucking way it survived, right? Like, you're on a highway and you have to drive at the speed, then what's the point in stopping, really? 200 miles? I mean, yeah, if you're on a highway. I think, like, German highways have no speed limit. You can drive as fast as you want there. I said miles. I meant kilometers. My bad. 200 kilometers. Yeah, like, miles would be. But you can run with 200 miles per hour on a German highway. I don't know if there's cars that are made to go that fast. But technically you could. I hit a dog at 150 kilometers an hour and it ran away in the woods. Get the fuck out. Only if you like clipped it. But like if it's a full impact, like if you get the whole animal, there's no fucking way it moves after that, man. If you hit a deer, you can get a roadkill tag and eat it. Oh, a lot of people did that in my country. Like there were roads where there's rabbits, and you know, if the rabbit happens to run the road and it's like you hit it with the car, you can actually, like if you didn't make it into paste, you can pick it up and eat it. Like, yeah, but I wasn't talking about clipping it. You are the sexiest Kajita I laid the eyes upon. I see. I'm also more of a cat person like Aiden, though. Dogs comes with rights and responsibilities. One time a guy made 450. And the Germans got hypocritically mad. Well, like 450 kilometers. But like, why would they get mad? Like, I thought like the cool thing about German highways is that you literally have no speed limit. Although like I know so first of all, you're supposed to be limited by the car manufacturing company. Like there's a lot of car manufacturers now that add speed dampeners to your car, which technically you could remove them at a mechanic shop, but you're not encouraged to. And secondly, at one point the car takes off, but I don't think you can possibly reach that point unless you have like a specific race car. Because I know like when you drive, like they did this experiment, and when you have a car that's like at a certain speed limit, it literally just takes off the ground. I have seen a motorcycle. Like there's a video with a motorcycle which goes with 380 kilometers an hour. Like I don't know how the fuck that guy had the courage to go with that fast. I mean, considering like even the smallest bump, even the smallest thing that would go wrong, you would become paste. But it's interesting. Like it was so fast, and he did this on a highway that you would see the car in the distance, and then like almost immediately it would be in front of you. And I'm like, dude, how the fuck is he doing that? Do you know how hard it is to get a car up to 300 miles per hour? We're talking about kilometers, not miles. But like, there is a certain speed after which the car does take off. Cars are built to use aeroforce to push them downwards and get more traction. Yeah, but like, even with that, as I understand it, at a certain speed, which is high enough, that just doesn't work anymore. There are production cars that can go 400 kilometers an hour. Yeah, that's insane. But like the thing is, like you're never going to travel that fast. You know, I get the fact that they put speed dampeners because like at one point every single car owner, you know, they want to see how fast the car can go, right? So like there's going to be that time where the car owner is just going to test the speed limit of the car, whether it's legal or not, and that's probably when car crashes happen. So I do enjoy the fact that there is a limit there, because at the end of the day, you're never going to have 450 kilometers an hour. Like, I don't see the situation where anyone is going to go, oh yeah, I need 280 miles per hour. Like, you need a straight enough piece of road with absolutely no traffic. I don't even know if you can control that car at 280 miles per hour. Like, let's be fucking honest. Like, the smallest movement of the wheel is going to cause the car to probably tip. There's a lot of NASCAR cars that flew over 100 feet in the air. Yeah, well. Unless you need to catch an airplane. I think they were designing the airplane car. Which is kind of interesting. Let me see if I can find one of these designs. So obviously is just like It's just like a thing that's probably never going to happen. But like, yeah, so you got like the airplane car and stuff. I don't even know if it's practical. Like, how much fuel could it even have? And even then, God. Like, at the end of the day, it's not really a car, is it? Because you can't really just take off from the street. Because you have to land, right? And like landing an airplane requires an empty street. Well, an empty runway. But, like, imagine, like, you're trying to park this... Like you're taking this to work, right? And then you have to land next to work, and you don't find an empty street. Like, what do? Do you hover in the air until the gas runs out? So, no, it's really not something that's feasible. Although what is feasible is probably drones that can carry people. Like, I have seen them. They look scary as fuck. But like, you could probably imagine, you know, like having one of them. But even then, like, imagine you're on a drone that's carrying a person, right? And then there's a rain and there's lightning and shit. Again, it's not... I have seen them work, by the way. Like, there's videos on YouTube of this. Like, people putting 4 drones together and then flying on top of them and stuff. Like, it can be done. It looks cringe. It's not very effective, but, like, I guess if you want the novelty... But even then, like, at any point, if something goes wrong, like, let's say there's a short circuit in the control, or maybe you accidentally press the wrong button and stuff, like, you're already high in the air and you can fall down. It's not safe. Really not a good idea. Weather is a problem for planes. Yeah, but, like, the thing with planes, as I understand it, if lightning strikes, it's fine, because you're in a Faraday cage. So in a plane, it's not bad. But if you're on a drone, right, and you have no protection, a lightning hits, and it's probably going to hit because you're probably the highest point, right? If you're flying on a drone, then, well. Oh, you know, I think, like, the car plane might work if you're next to a river. But, like, then it wouldn't be a car. It would be, like, a boat plane. Like, boat planes are actually fucking cool, right? Because if you can take off from the water and you can land on the water, that's really awesome. So, that is something that's feasible. Let me see one more. There was, a different model of car. I don't know if I can find it. Oh, here we go. Sorry. My bad. I'm really tired. I'm going to end the stream after this. There were vintage cars. I think it was like in the 40s, where they tried to make them look like a rocket. And they look kind of cool. You know, I find it so interesting, like the way people in the past used to see the future. Like the future car, right? It had the bubble. I never understand. I guess this is for COVID, for social distancing, right? Oh, this one is interesting. This is a real car. It's a real car concept. Sorry, 1954. There's more that look like this. However, like there's actual cars that look like spaceships, and they're all vintage. I wonder, like, if you manage to get one and you drive one, like, how would people look at you? This one actually looks pretty great, not gonna lie. Like, this one actually foresaw how modern cars could look. Same with this. This one looks fucking gorgeous. I mean, if you put some red paint over it, it could look like... Oh, here we go. But again, this is a concept. I'm sure there's actual real cars that look like rockets. They're really pretty. But anywho, I am going to bed. So thank you all for watching. Really thanks for the super chat. Sock and Pupe, you're still banned. And I'll see you all tomorrow. Take care.